we didn't know we were saying goodbye. There was a time when life was real, when we lived with our whole hearts, not through screens. A time when laughter wasn't typed out. It echoed in the streets, in living rooms, in the warmth of voices that weren't pixelated or sent through satellites. We didn't check if someone was online. We just went to them, knocked on their doors, called their house phones, nervously clearing our throats before asking, "Is X home?" And if they weren't, we didn't leave a message. We just tried again later. We didn't stay inside hiding behind usernames and filters. The world was our playground. We ran, we climbed, we scraped our knees, and we didn't care. We had curfews, but we pushed them, begging for 5 more minutes before the streetlights came on. Those weren't just 5 extra minutes outside. They were 5 more minutes of belonging, 5 more minutes of feeling alive. We sat together, not side by side with phones in hand, but really together. Legs tangled on the floor, controllers in hand, screaming at the TV during Mario Kart, swearing we'd never forgive the friend who threw the last red shell. But we always did. Because back then, losing didn't mean logging off. It meant one more round, one more chance to win, one more memory made. Music wasn't something we skipped through. It was sacred. We sat by the radio for hours, fingers hovering over the record button, trying to catch our favorite song without the DJ talking over it. And when we burned CDs or made mixtapes, we poured ourselves into them, picking each song like it was a love letter, hoping it would say what we couldn't. Now, we have access to every song ever made, and yet somehow music doesn't hit the same. Photos weren't taken 100 times for the perfect angle. We had disposable cameras where every click mattered. We held those photos in our hands, not in a cloud flipping through them, laughing at the terrible ones, cherishing the perfect mistakes. Now we take thousands of pictures, edit them to perfection, and somehow, none of them feel as precious as those grainy, unfiltered memories. TV wasn't something we binged in one sitting. We waited a whole week for the next episode, and when it finally aired, we all watched it at the same time, together. The next morning at school, we had to talk about it. There was no catching up later, no spoilers online. Just the excitement of experiencing something as one. Now we can watch whatever we want, whenever we want. Yet entertainment feels lonelier than ever. We didn't text from across the room. We whispered. We passed notes in class, folding them in ways that only we understood. We wrote messages in the margins of notebooks, inside jokes that made us giggle long after the moment had passed. Now we have instant messaging, but we stare at screens, waiting for replies that never come. And when we were bored, we felt it. We didn't scroll to escape it. Boredom made us climb trees, build forts, tell stories, lie on our backs staring at the sky, dreaming of the future. It made us imagine. Now, boredom is met with an endless feed of distractions, and yet we still feel empty. And the worst part is that we didn't know we were saying goodbye while we were still living in those moments. We didn't know that one day we'd miss having to call a landline. We didn't know that knocking on a friend's door would become a thing of the past. We didn't know that one day we'd have the whole world at our fingertips and yet feel more alone and depressed than ever. We had everything back then. We just didn't realize it.